Welcome friends to Farm Fresh Designs 59. In today's video, I've got 3 little shadow boxes and the backgrounds will all be napkins. So let's get started. So I'm going to start out with this napkin that I ordered from Amazon, and it comes in this new pink for Christmas, and I know pink's been really popular this year. And I love this napkin because it's got 2 different designs on it. And I just take a little paintbrush and dip it in water and go around, and that just tears that napkin really easy. Now, usually I use like a little water brush, but I misplaced it, so this is just a perfect way to get those napkins separated. And then I also go around all 4 edges just to make them not straight. And also remember, when you use a napkin, it's usually about 2 or 3 ply, so you want to get down to the very napkin that's got the design on it. Now, for my first box, these are made out of cigar boxes, and I'm painting it, or I painted it with Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. And I'm going to put this napkin on with Pentart Decoupage varnish and glue, and I always get that from Decoupage Central. And I like it a lot because it's not as thick as Mod Podge. And so I like it. It's got enough consistency to where I feel like it holds really well. And then I just brush on a little bit at a time and then lay my napkin down. And then I pull it up and I do a little bit more glue. And then I just kind of work my way all the way down till I get to the bottom. Now, when I lay that napkin down, it looks like I'm brushing it down just a little bit, but I want you to know that I do that with a really light touch because napkins can tear so easy. And so I'm just being super careful with it. And then I go back with a little piece of cellophane and push down just to make sure that that glue got set, and in case there's any little wrinkles, that helps to get the wrinkles out. Now, I'm using Mod Podge, but this is something that I got at the Dollar Tree, and it's a glossy Mod Podge. And I don't use Mod Podge very much, but since this is a glossy finish, then I thought this would be a great time to use it. And it had been in my stash. So I'm going all the way around the edges of that napkin because that napkin does not fill up that box on the inside completely. Now, we all know that Dollar Tree uses a lot of glitter on the products that they sell. So, yes, I am not a charter member of the Dollar Tree Glitter Club, if there was such a thing. But I like glitter, especially at Christmas time. So, this is some glitter that I got at Hobby Lobby, and there's not really a color to it. It's called Diamond, and it just helps it to kind of sparkle a little bit. So if you're not a glitter fan, you might want to kind of fast forward through different parts of this video. So this is the little girl from the IOD Ginger and Spice mold that came out in September. And I'm painting her with this color that I bought at Hobby Lobby. And it comes from Folk Art, and it's called Pleasant Pink. So I'm painting her dress with that pink because it matches the pink in the napkin, and then I also paint her little hair bow too as well. Now, my next little mold is a gingerbread house, and I made it out of resin, and I'm painting the body of that gingerbread house with that same pink. Now, that mold is one of those pink molds that sometimes you'll find in the cake decorating section, but it's really sturdy and it holds up to the resin really well. Now, the roof and the base of that gingerbread house, I'm going to be painting that white. And it mimics either snow or, the gingerbread houses have that icing on it. Now, for the body of the little gingerbread girl, I took some Dixie Belle paint called Pumpkin Spice. And I didn't want it to be that dark because the colors in this project are just real dainty and pink. And so I wanted to kind of tone it down a little bit. So I just put some of that same pink mixed it in with that darker color and lightened it up just a little bit. Now, I didn't paint in the eyes or the mouth or anything because I didn't want to take away from, that dainty little girl. Now, these are some Jingle blocks that I just glued onto the top of the little shadow box. And once they got all set up, now I'm going back and I'm painting them with that same white. And then I'm going to be painting the back of the box with white as well, because I like my projects to be finished on the back. Because, I don't even know sometimes whether I'm going to put it in my booth or I'm just going to keep it. So, all right, so I'm painting these with white. So get ready. You might need to fast forward. So instead of putting glue onto this little mold and then putting, that glitter that I like to use on top, if you use the white paint and pour the glitter on top of that, then it just kind of acts as a glue and it sticks straight to that. So I've got that little pink pan down up underneath and it kind of, catches that extra glitter. And then, I put it back in the little jar. So once again, if you're not a fan of glitter, you might want to fast forward. Now, this is one of the little peppermints that came out of the ginger and spice mold. And I paint it with the pink. And then the little stripes of the peppermint, I paint those white. And no surprises, but yes, I put pink on the peppermint as well. Now, I'm going to glue all of these 3 pieces to those little Jingle blocks up at the top. And I put them on with Titebond Thick and Quick. And, I don't need to put glue over the entire gingerbread. So I just put it up as high as it needs to be. And I put the little girl on and the house and the little peppermint. And then I'll let it set up overnight. And I tuck something up underneath because it is hanging off a little bit. Now, down at the bottom, that's a little coffee cup. And that's a mold that's one of those pink molds that you find in the cake decorating section. And I'll try to find that and link that as well. And I painted that with the pink color. And then those little white balls, it's just some air dry clay that I rolled up and made some little balls with, and I'm going to glue those on top of the cup to make it look like marshmallows. Now, I could have painted the cup with that gingerbread color, but I thought it might be just a little bit stark, and I didn't want this little coffee cup to stand out that much. And I just think it's so sweet that it mimics that cup that's in the little picture. Okay, get ready. Can you guess what I'm fixing to do? Yes, I'm putting glue on the inside edges of the box. And don't be surprised, but I pull out my glitter again. And I sprinkle glitter on the inside because, well, why not? I've already got enough glitter on it, so let's just go for the gusto and put a lot of glitter on it. So if you are not a fan of glitter, there's a lot of other options for that. But I think at Christmas, glitter is pretty. And my granddaughters love the pieces that I've done today. And, all little girls like glitter. And so they are really loving these 2 little pieces. So if you're not a fan of glitter, skip this step. And, if you need to fast forward through some of these glitter parts, be ready. So if you're liking the video so far, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and become part of our family here. Okay, so the next project is another cigar box. And I painted that with the Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint. And this time I'm using the part of the napkin that says Peppermint Sweet Shop. So neither piece actually fills up the inside of the box. So I just leave like a little edge around up at the top and at the bottom. Okay, guess what I'm getting ready to do? Yes, more glitter. So this is just some clear school glue, and I just brush that on. And not only do I put it on the inside, but there's little parts of that napkin, like the little ball on Santa's hat, the little pom-pom. And, just little different pieces. So I just kind of dab it on here and there. And then when I put, that dreaded glitter on the inside, and I kind of move it around and shake it around a little bit, then that attaches to the different parts that I've added just a little bit of glue. So I know some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, she has lost her mind. She has used so much glitter in this video. But yes, it is really sparkly. But this glue is clear and it's called diamond. And so it's not right, one of those that's just right in your face, because it really doesn't have a lot of color. It just adds a little sparkle. So now let's talk about the molds. This is the Ginger and Spice mold, and I'm going to be making 5 of these little different peppermints. And I make it with hot glue. And if you've not used hot glue before, your hot glue gun needs to be at least 100 degrees temperature. So you have to be careful. And then I'm going to be making 2 of the candy canes. And the reason that I'm making the candy canes out of hot glue is because I'm going to lay one on top of the other, and that would be really hard to do with resin. So this time on the outside of the box, I promise I'm not using glitter. I'm using white eyelash yarn. And I go around the 3 sides. Now look at these 2 little candy canes. I want them kind of one going one way and one going the other. So I just kind of hit that candy cane on the bottom with the hot glue gun, and it just melts it together. And then these are the little peppermints that I made, and I painted them pink and white. No surprise, put some glitter on them. And I'm using Tite Bond Thick and Quick to kind of lay them on top of that edge. And then one of the things that I forgot to show you is on the inside, I've got those 2 little candy canes that I'll be gluing just right up above Santa's face. And then I found some little cupcake molds that I made to also be putting inside of that shadow box. Now I'm making some bases for this shadow box and the next out of Jingle blocks. So I want to get rid of that word Jingle, because it's kind of engraved into that. So I just sand it down, and it takes a lot of elbow grease, but I eventually get rid of it. And then I just set that, I'm going to set that up underneath the shadow box, and then it's going to be painted pink instead of white, because I do want that base to kind of stand out just a little bit. But because it's a pale pink, it's just not really kind of right in your face like you would think, but it's just such a pale pink. So what do you think of this one? And look at those little cupcake molds. Aren't they so cute? But once again, that's they're made on those pink kind of silicone molds. And those, you can find all kind of things on Amazon, little molds that, you just kind of use here and there. But I love this one because it's just mimics, that Christmas and baking and candy and just all the really sweet parts of Christmas. And I love this one as well. And this one doesn't have as much glitter on it as the first one. So I hope you're not thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to have to quit watching her channel? Because that girl went way overboard on glitter today. Okay, so my next little box comes from Michael's. And I painted it white. And this is also a little napkin. And it is 2 little angels at a Christmas tree. And I'm putting that on with the Pentart Decoupage varnish and glue. And then using my little cellophane to put that one in. And that one fits really well on the inside of this box. But this one is more traditional colors. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to be making some little Christmas ornaments. So I'm going to go through this whole process because I want you to see exactly how I do it. So on this IOD mold called Jingle, there are 3 little Christmas ornaments. And I'm using hot glue, and I'm going to be making them double-sided. Now that little gold chain is actually just plastic. It's not metal at all, and I got it at Hobby Lobby. And I want my little ornaments to be on a chain to hang, and you'll see that in a minute. So I put my hot glue in, and I lay that little chain on top. And make sure that that chain is plenty long, because I'm not really sure how much I will need to cut off. So I would rather err on the side of caution and have it be a little bit longer than end up being too short. And because, that glue is super hot, you do have to be really careful. And, well, I may have burnt my fingers in the past, and honestly, it feels like it's taken off a whole layer of skin if you do burn your finger with this glue, because it is crazy hot. And on this mold, there are 3 size little ball ornaments, a larger one and a medium size and a small size. And now the little top on this mold that looks like the top of an ornament, that's where I lay my chain on. And I'm just using like a little toothpick to push that chain into that hot glue. Now I'll let these set up, and when I pull them out, I'm going to be making them double-sided. And that little chain is glued into that mold. Now, that's like a little bell on this mold, and I don't actually, use it like on the final product. So here's what you do. After those have set up, then you go back to the mold and you put hot glue in it, but I don't let the hot glue come up all the way to the edge, because now I'm going to set that mold that's already set up inside of that glue, trying to be super careful. And you'll notice that it gets almost translucent when it has that glue on top has kind of molded to the glue on the bottom. And then I'll let them, set up a pretty good while before I even take it out of the mold. And on each one, I paint, a different Waverly color. And then one is red, one is a green, and one is a gold. And then I've got the little gold stripes on them. And now I'm just using my drill, because on the top of that little shadow box, I'm going to drill 3 little holes, and I'm going to push that chain into that hole from on the inside, and it's going to be hanging out on the outside, because now I'm going to trim off like what I don't need now. But it's plastic instead of metal, so I just use my scissors to kind of cut off the extra. And then I use my hot glue on the inside, because I want to make sure that after I get those little chains stuck through those holes, that they don't kind of pull out, because, well, putting those chains through those holes, it was not the easiest process at all. It took me a little bit of work to get those through there, but I was happy with the way it turned out. And then I go back and put a little bit more hot glue, because I want to make real sure that they're in there. Now, this is a mold from Redesign with Prima, and it's a little mold that's 2 little Christmas bells. And I took 3 Jingle blocks to make a base out of that. And see that gold eyelash yarn? Well, you're not going to see it at the end, because I took it off. I thought it was ugly. So now, here's the final project. And on this one, I did not use as much glitter, friends. But I think this one is really sweet too. And I like that those little ornaments kind of hang down from the top. And then those Jingle blocks, they just kind of add just a little bit more stability to that shadow box, and just add just a little bit of extra touch to it. And then with that little mold right on the front, it's got the Christmas bells. That would have also been a really great place to either like stamp some scripture, or, something else, put a little song title on it. So friends, we are at the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed the projects today, and I hope that all this glitter has not sent you running and screaming, thinking, oh my goodness, what has she done? But it was fun today, and honestly, it seems like a lot of glitter, but when you stand back from it a little bit, it's just a little bit of a shimmer. But I love it, and I think it's perfect for these. But this glitter is going in the cabinet, because I do not want to be using it anytime soon, because I think glitter is perfect at Christmas. And, this glitter is super fine. It's not like that glitter that the kids use at school. But yes, it did kind of make a mess. But in the comments below today, tell me which one was your favorite. And I don't know which one is my favorite. It might be the one that I used the most glitter on. But I do like the pink ones most of all because, well, I'm a pink girl and I'm frou-frou and I like all that stuff. But I really like the way those turned out, and my granddaughters did. So if you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I'm going to try to have a really small video out at the end of this week. Thank you so much, friends.